Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Airbus for this fantastic day today. We leave the pilots to say hello to their families, of course. Mr. Didier Ebrard.
What can I say? It's a very emotional moment. This flight, at this point in time, before Le Bourget, has been the dream of a team, the dream of a company for almost 1 year. And now the dream has come true. It was not an easy journey for 6 years and a half, but with the team I have, we can do miracles.
Today you've seen the first flight of the most advanced civil aircraft in the world. And not long from now, we'll be flying another 4 flight test airplanes in this program. 2,500 hours of flight testing to do in the next 14 months or so before certification. And I think it's a great tribute as well to the engineers who've worked in the program, designing this great airplane. So thank you to all of you as well.
Emanuele Costanzo, flight test engineer, the Benjamin of the team.
These engines are excellent, really excellent. And it's not a surprise. It's not a surprise because we have had today the confirmation of what we have seen in the last years, in the last 2 years, since the start of the flying test bed. It's been a success in the light of what has happened today, but also because there was a very, very good cooperation between Rolls-Royce, UTAS and Airbus.
And Patrick Duché, le marin, head of development of Airbus.
We have been able to open the flight envelope in all high-lift configuration, down to minimum speed, up to maximum speed of all those configurations. And we have been also in configuration clean, up to flight level 250 and reaching 340 knots. So, next flight, we have to explore the higher Mach number.
I would like to tell you that it's a great day for all people who have the passion of aerospace. Of course, the Airbus employees, their families, their relatives, but also all the partners and the customers. And I would like to thank you all to be with us today. We flew before Paris Airshow. This was the target I set to the teams 9 months ago, and at that time I can tell you it was not so easy. Everybody aligned to this objective. I would like especially to thank Louis Gallois, who cannot be with us, but who was the guy who, as a previous Airbus CEO, supported the launch of this A350, and Tom Enders, we worked together for 5 years, and we did everything possible together to ease the way for Didier, Gordon, and the rest of the team. Thanks very much, Mark King, Eric Schultz, John Richton. You did a terrific job. This engine has been certified already months ago, and this is a fantastic one. We are very pleased to have you on board, and all the partners working with us. So, this is still time to enjoy. And tomorrow, I will ask you again to do everything possible to certify this aircraft within about 12-13 months, and then be ready for the delivery to our first customers. Thanks very much. I'm very proud of all of you. Thank you.
You're watching ASL.
For all your travel needs in Ethiopia, choose ABA Travel.
You are watching the Air, Space, and Lifestyle channel.
The highly popular Cessna 152 was first delivered in 1977, and a total of 7,584 were built over its short 8-year production run. The airplane provided seating for 2 people and was targeted at the training and private ownership market. It was a development of the Cessna 150, which was one of the most successful aircraft programs of all time, with almost 24,000 being produced between 1959 and 1977, when the 152 took over the Wichita, Kansas line. Over the years, the aircraft was produced in several versions, offering varying degrees of improvements. The Cessna 152 has proven to be an excellent airplane to teach just about anyone the skills required to develop into a good pilot. This aircraft is generally the first one that a student is introduced to, since it has docile handling characteristics and offers reliable yet basic flight instrumentation and aircraft systems. You are about to experience what it's like to fly the Cessna 152 as we undertake a training flight in the experienced and capable hands of Arne Krutov. In the training seat today is Sorab Manga, an FFTC student with lofty goals of flying commercially in the near future. Arne and Sorab will put 3 Tango Charlie through its paces and introduce you to some of the basic skills and knowledge that are required before the instructor can leave the student alone for his first flight.
Municipal Airport. Automated weather observation. 1355 Zulu weather. Wind 120 at 3. Visibility 10. Clear below 12,000. Temperature 32 Celsius. Dew point 27. Altimeter 3015. Remark.
Okay, our cabin inspection for today's flight on the 152 includes checking that the ignition is off. Check. Documents and POH on board. We have the POH at the back of the airplane, so that's check. We have our documents that are all the way back over here. The control lock comes off. Master switch that comes on. Check. The flaps come down. In the meantime, we check the fuel economy. We have about 5 gallons in each tank. That gives us about an hour and a half of flight time. So the cabin inspection is complete. Let's move on to the airframe inspection.
We're going to the airframe inspection, starting with the empennage, rudder and gust lock removed. Now that's not a Cessna part, that's something that we made here to prevent the rudder from going left and right in heavy winds. Tail tie down removed. Very good.
Check, free movement, pins in place. Left elevator check. Free movement, no obstruction. Cords seem to be in place. Nuts and bolts in place. Check. Checking the right elevator.
Try to move this here. Make sure it's sturdy.
Alright.
And then there's an AD on those brackets there that are green. And you want to inspect that very carefully. Make sure there's no cracks in here. And they are on the bottom, on top, on both sides. Very good. Then we go to the right wing trailing edge. Check the tracks again. connecting rod and the flap rails, which are the tracks. We check the ailerons, check the hinges, which come from underneath,
Free movement.
and make sure they're all connected.
Hinges seem good.
And when you stick your finger in there, always hold the aileron, okay? So when the wind comes, your finger doesn't get clipped off. Now we go to the leading edge, remove, wing tie down. And we check the main wheel, make sure there's no hydraulic leaks from the brake. Check your brake pads and the wheel itself and the tire. Okay, right fuel drain. Check quality and color. There's only one location on each wing where we check the fuel. Very good. So going back to left fuel tank, we check for quantity visually. 5 gallons, so about 1 hour of flight time in the left fuel tank. So go ahead and check the oil level. You should have a minimum of 4 quarts and no more than 6 quarts.
We have about 5 quarts.
5 quarts, very well. And we check for nicks. Okay, make sure there's no nicks. Not corrosion on the propeller. I check the alternator belt, even though it's not on the checklist. Check the alternator belt, the alternator bracket, okay, that holds the alternator. And look inside here, make sure there's no bird's nest in here. And when you look on the other side, you see the oil cooler. And we'll make sure that there's no debris or anything obstructing, because that would send your oil temperature right up, okay? And then you just go from here to the landing light to the air filter, and then while we're down there, we can inspect the entire nose gear. Make sure there's enough on the strut, on the oleo. Make sure the wheel and the tire is in good condition. We go to the static port. Make sure the static port is clean, clear. You remember what that is for, the static port?
For your instruments, for your ambient pressure outside.
That's right. So for the airspeed indicator, the altimeter, and the vertical speed indicator, get their information from the static port. I'll bring it over here for a second so I can see it also. Let's look at that. That looks good. It's blue, it's clear. There's no debris in it. Pitot tube, of course. Here, make sure there's nothing in there. You remember what this is for?
For the airspeed indicator.
Okay, that's the ram air,
to measure the ram air.
or dynamic air for the airspeed indicator. Very good. Can you get to this stall warning horn? So we suck on that and it works fine. The fuel tank vent, as long as there's no blockage, we have a good vent. Alright, then the left wing trailing edge. We'll complete the airframe inspection then.
This is ASL.
The Airplane Shop is the world's largest source of commercial and military aviation toys, models, and collectibles. When in New York, New Jersey, Miami, or Las Vegas, drop into the Airplane Shop. For directions, please visit our website.
Join Air, Space, and Lifestyle Channel as we bring our industries together in an exciting new way. Our coverage of the world's top air and trade shows is unmatched. We've been entrusted to film aircraft worth billions of dollars across the world. Our decades of coverage across 6 continents and over 50 countries has resulted in a diversified aviation, space, and travel database containing exclusive material never before seen. From these extensive archives, we've produced over 100 unique DVD programs. And now, it's an honor to bring you the world's first 24-hour air, space, and lifestyle streaming channel. We invite you to join us. Failure is not an option.
Before starting engine checklist, departure briefing. Well, we got that storm here to the east, so we're going to stay west
it is slightly moving east-southeast, okay? So it's not gonna get us in trouble. If the storm does move west or towards the airport, we're gonna quickly come back and land.
All right.
Anything unusual happening, seriously affecting safety of flight, we also come back to the airport, of course.
Okay.
We're going to do a normal takeoff and then find an area where we're going to do the slow flight stall series, steep turns, and then come back and do a short field landing.
Okay.
Pre-flight inspection is complete. The cabin door, let's close them on both sides, open the window for fresh air. Very good. Okay, the brakes are set. The fuel valve is on. The circuit breakers are all in.
Check.
Avionics
Off.
are off. Very good. Mixture is coming rich.
Check.
The throttle is open, a 1/4 inch. Carburetor heat is off.
Check.
Beacon is on.
Check.
Okay, primer is in a lock. Did we prime yet?
No,
Let's primer a couple of times, maybe 3 times. Okay, master switch on, and then the before starting engine checklist is complete. So go ahead and start the engine.
Clear prop. Part of the after engine start checklist includes putting the flaps up for takeoff. In a normal takeoff, we don't usually use flaps. We do a procedure what's known as a brake check. It includes just after you start taxiing, you apply full pressure on the brakes and make sure that the airplane comes to a complete halt. It's fairly easy to taxi the Cessna 152. The recommended speed for taxi is anywhere between 800 to 1000 RPM. After listening to the weather, I set my altimeter. Before every departure or takeoff, it's standard to do what's called a pre-takeoff checklist. It includes me doing the engine run-up. I add power to 1800 RPM, and then I check the left and the right magnetos. I'm looking at the tach to see those readings. I'm also checking the carburetor heat. I know that it's functioning properly when I see a slight drop in the engine RPM. I also put the transponder on, and now I'm doing a control check. Left, right, aileron movement, as well as the elevator and the rudder. I'm making sure that there's no obstructions and the controls are moving smoothly. I've made sure that there's no traffic by looking at the approach and departure end of the runway. Once I'm lined up to the runway center line, I add power and hold the throttle. After takeoff, you see me moving the elevators. I'm correcting for the wind that's affecting my flight path. I'm aiming for about 60 knots right now in approach. There's the last notch of flaps. I'm now ready to land the airplane. Just about 150 feet, I get a left crosswind. I start correcting by putting left aileron input. It's good that you hear the stall horn on landing, especially in the Cessna 152. You know that you are at the right airspeed.
Hello, my name is Arne Kruthoff. I'm the owner of the Florida Flight Training Center. It's in Venice, Florida, and I started this flight school in 1992. Pilot shortages will become an acute problem again in the near future. If you're thinking about learning how to fly in the United States, we have an incredible infrastructure. Every town in this country has its own runways, its own airports, and the whole system is designed and developed to support pilots. Add to that the beautiful country itself with its beautiful weather in most of the country, and I think America is an excellent choice to learn how to fly.
You're watching the Air, Space, and Lifestyle channel. This is ASL.
America prepares. All America alters its pattern of life and work to meet the demand for protection. Industry is a double step to supply the sinews of safety, the armaments of war that an embattled world must have if democracy is to survive. Mechanical genius joins with the muscle of millions of men, working to win for the ways of freedom. Freedom to think, to speak, to rise, live, and plan with one's fellow man. America's vast resources are harnessed to the job of being the world arsenal for this and other democracies. Its present-day production of armaments is but a mere fraction of the great job that lies ahead. The flow of production in plant and shipyard gains speed. Vessels of all types, carriers, merchantmen, submarines, slip off the ways in growing numbers. America is making many tanks. Americans are rapidly learning their use. A rough branch of the service, making all the more necessary the intensive training of the day for total preparation against any threat to freedom. In less than a year, miracles are wrought in the production of tanks, rolling fortresses geared to demolish anything in their paths, conquering all obstacles on every nature of terrain. Americans must know their every phase for defense and self-protection. Scout cars are a new development. More are needed, more will be supplied. On guard at the Panama Canal, Uncle Sam's vital water lifeline, joining the two great oceans of the world. Protection of this most important artery rests with many divisions. Its Air Force, searching eyes that look down from the sky, from the Atlantic to the Pacific. Soldiers, sailors, and Marines are trained especially to guard this long, thin link, permitting quick disposition of naval units from one ocean to the other, allowing supply and merchant ships safe passage for their cargoes of war or peacetime. Alert is America's coast defense. Now it takes on new importance. Thousands of anti-aircraft guns and thousands more in production. America's coasts must be invulnerable. America's Army takes to the air, while more and more bombers roll off the assembly lines at high-powered factories. Growing air armadas stand ready, guided by pilots second to none. Men training with bombers, with fighters, with pursuit planes. Intrepid men, learning every formation, learning to keep the air above America free. Long before any foreign nation utilized parachute jumping as a practical form of warfare, Uncle Sam's Air Force had perfected this means of offense and of defense. First, the equipment of guns and accessories are thrown safely to the earth. Then the men pile out. There's a whirlwind descent, then a tug as the parachute opens to glide the men to safety. Now the slow-motion camera analyzes the jumps. perfect form, the parachutist is expected to land standing on his 2 feet. The United States Navy's newest triple threat, its Mosquito Torpedo Squadron, mile-a-minute craft designed for harbor protection, coast patrol, and hit-and-run attacks. Each manned by a picked crew of 9, they carry 4 torpedoes and twin machine guns. Before the skyline of New York City, they paint a threatening picture to those who would dare attempt invasion of our shores and of our liberty. But the fleet is the total hitting might of the United States Navy. Gigantic floating fortresses designed to carry massive guns and deliver their unharnessed fire in defense of the nation's shores. America's call to arms directs a 2-ocean navy of heavy cruisers, destroyers, submarines, and planes. Planes ever growing in effectiveness to find the enemy, bomb him, chase his planes from the air, and observe the fire of their own battleships. The Navy's Sky warship spreads its wings, a huge 30-ton super bomber, a 4-engined monster, fast and formidable. More destroyers are on the way to make the 2-ocean Navy a reality. Uncle Sam's Submarine Squadron, $6 million craft that hail a $3 billion program, which delivers a new fighting ship every 12 days. Eyes under the sea, eyes for defense. Manpower in action shall continue to answer America's call to arms.
You're watching the Air, Space, and Lifestyle channel.
For all your travel needs in Ethiopia, choose ABBA Travel.
You are watching ASL.